I've never watched it all the way through, but I know it's a long fucking movie.
I'm 82 years old and I have to go to bed at 10. Fuck you!
Rip a finger off and shove it up my ass.
You always talk about the Fanboy Fight Club. What's up, fanboys and girls? This is Fanboy Fight Club Reacts. We all just actually watched The Killing Joke, so we're on here to talk about it. This is actually normally the day that we would do our podcast, but we're actually postponing that until tomorrow. So we have The Killing Joke comic, Blackface Mikey. We have Jarmar.
The other blackface.
The other blackface.
Whoa! Wow, this got all sorts of.
We got
really
Jarmar, Wes, Michael, and of course I'm Jason. And I guess Killing Joke. What you think?
DC spent 70 minutes diddling my wallet more than Joker diddled Barbara.
Were you really disappointed by that? Like that?
I was legitimately disappointed. Like they hit the key points of the book, which was cool, but I felt they spent so much money on Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill that they just couldn't afford to animate half the movie.
I could see that. The animation did look kind of weird. It was almost like the characters were moving, but nothing was moving around them. So I didn't know if that was just maybe the artistic look of it, how it was supposed to look, or
like there was a scene in Barbara's apartment where she's like picking up a phone, and it looked like so out of focus. I'm like, how the fuck is an animation out of focus? This isn't like 1920 where they have to take pictures of it. It's all on the computer.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. The stuff on the behind the scenes, like what the characters are moving, it looks good, but what everybody else literally just stood there. Like there was a scene in the bar when he was surrounded by nothing but sad people, and even the bartender was just standing there like, and it was the weirdest thing in the world to not see any movement in the background. Like I'm pretty sure all the animators, because there was like 100-something animators, could have animated something else in the background just to keep movement going.
Fair point. Do you think that was this? I'm kind of naive to this, but was this like a whole different like animation division versus like the other like DC animated films?
I don't think so. I think the problem was they wanted to do the Bruce Timm style because they had Conroy and Hamill, but they also wanted to stay true to the style of the book, and they tried to mesh that together, and it just kind of went back and forth to having no detail, all detail, no detail, all detail. And it just didn't work at all.
Yeah, not having read the comic, that backstory part was completely over my head at first. Like I did not realize what they were building up to until like right before it actually happened.
Well, the stuff with Batgirl at the beginning wasn't in the book.
I'm talking more about the backstory of the Joker, how he became the Joker. Just because I've never read really any of the comics about that part of it. So my understanding of how he became the Joker came more from like the movies that came out the movie that came out in the 80s. I never really thought of any other storyline other than that. So like I was just kind of all confused. And I've learned a little bit about what the Red Hood was from you, just from playing the games and stuff like that. So for my perspective from playing the Batman games, it kind of opened my eyes up a little bit more and maybe taught me a little bit more about what was going on behind the scenes there. But other than that, I mean, I didn't get that much out of it. But back to the animation thing, I even thought it was weird that they didn't even have like, there were times where Batman was fighting, but it was only one person coming at him at a time. Like it was just weird to me. Like it just seemed like they could have done way more with like some of those fight scenes and things like that.
Overall, I thought the movie was pretty.
Sorry.
Well
then, it was so good that it just like froze.
It just turned my computer on.
It's getting ready. Like you're gonna love this guy's opinion. It was very good. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was good. The main problem I had is I felt the beginning part with, Batgirl and everything was incredibly slow. And it was all over the place as far as pacing goes. It was really uncomfortable. It would be like real quick action scene, slow. Real quick action scene, slow. Like it kept going back to the what was that, Paris French guy or whatever his name was.
Paris Francis or something like that.
Francesco or something, but it was Paris France.
Whatever. So it kept going back to him, and I liked that character and I liked what they were doing with him, but it was so off. And then once it started getting into the actual backstory of Joker and the Killing Joke, book, I liked that part of it. I do think the ending itself was so abrupt that you don't know how to react at the end. You're just sitting there quiet. The theater that we saw it in, because we saw it in theaters, there was not even a peep. Everybody just sat there like not expecting that to happen. And it was almost like everybody was polarized from just watching that film. And everybody was either thinking, man, that was really fucking good, or man, that was really fucking bad. And I think most people thought it was really bad.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like the biggest part of why the ending felt so abrupt is because in the book, like, that scene is like several panels of them laughing before Joker stops laughing and it pans down. And even like Batman's hands are like on his neck instead of just on his shoulders, where it just was like instant. Like, he puts his hands on his shoulders and then it just drops and Joker stops talking. But like he doesn't twitch or anything, so them trying to insinuate that he kills him isn't really, it's not there like it is in the book.
They like pan to like the puddle of water, so I thought maybe he was gonna like stab him instead of like choking him or something.
I thought maybe there'd be blood or something, or
it was just like
or
water,
he'd just drop and Joker
dark.
just be laying there with his head like backwards. I mean something, but it just, and then it was just silence.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say that I guess I'm kind of, being the same as what we all kind of equally have determined, that we were okay with the film, but not like loved it. I'm opposite of you, Wes, though. Like, I felt like...
Jarmar, just say you didn't like it. Just one time.
Right, no, I'm saying... Okay. So,
just say,
I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't like it. I basically called Kristen, and the idea was, like, I'm going to watch it, and then I thought, okay, however it turns out, I'll buy it, whether on Blu-ray or whatnot, and then watch it with Kristen. And I called her and was like, I'm not going to buy it. It's not good. So, I even told her, like, you would have not liked it at all. She would have hated it. But
yeah.
I do, however, think, though, I did appreciate the beginning. I know it was all polarizing about her trying to be an empowered woman or whatever, but
Which
I felt like
did poorly on.
If they would have started the movie just like, after all of those events, it would have... I think the impact wasn't to create like a character for Batgirl, but more of a reason of why it was so important that she was like paralyzed and like raped.
Well, yeah, you're right.
But it didn't... I get what you're saying, though. It didn't do, like, a great job on Batman's end. It was like, okay, I understand why she is infatuated with Batman, but Batman was like, you still didn't understand why he even cared at all. So it was just done poorly. I enjoyed that more.
It just felt like he was angry that they were Eskimo brothers.
Right. That was the only thing that was extremely off-putting to me about, like, the beginning.
How do you think he feels? How do you think Barbara feels?
Yeah, when I was driving home, I was thinking about it, and you're right. With comic books, they had decades of backstory leading up to the Killing Joke, so people knew the history behind there. But if you're making a movie, you got to think about the people that hasn't seen it. Sarah, Jason, hasn't read those comics, so this is the first time they're experiencing this story. So they needed to build some kind of emotional arc there for Barbara, so that way when she gets shot, people actually feel sympathy for her. And I understand why they did it. I just felt it was done poorly.
Yeah,
I kind of agree with you on that. But at the same time, they've had movies like Flashpoint and Dark Knight Returns, which they did no build-up. They just went straight into the story, and they were fantastic. They were perfect.
And it wasn't.
This was just like a crash.
I wouldn't say that I wouldn't have sympathy for her because she was shot. I mean, she was shot, and the implication. Like, I knew she was raped, but I don't know that I would have. I knew she was raped by Mike telling me from doing previous, like, playing the Arkham games and stuff like that. But like but that movie that didn't imply that to me. If I didn't know that already watching that movie, I wouldn't have thought that's what happened. I would have just thought that her clothes were taken off and that he took pictures of her. That's it.
Right. I think that's why they had the hooker scene, though, was so they could cement that. Because the hookers were like, oh yeah, Joker always hits us up for some pussy every time he gets out of jail, but he didn't show up this time.
Yeah. Did you have to say a P word?
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
This podcast isn't rated R, man.
Well, I mean, the movie was supposed to be rated R, but I mean, aside from some underboob and some blood, it wasn't rated R at all.
That was a goddamn gimmick. I guarantee you they got a PG-13, and Warner Bros. Was like, no, give us an R for this bad boy because we'll make more money off of it. There's no reason. Yeah, there was no reason for it to be rated R at all.
They even when they were like the worst like cuss word in the entire thing was when Joker was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Which that was
although that part that made me laugh out loud when
that was the part. I think both of you, and Carl all just instantly started laughing at that point.
We all five of us did. Yeah, it was funny. But there was no bad words. I've seen worse shit on Family Guy on TV.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah,
stupid.
I don't know. So
I
mean,
I just expected more out of them because any of their like original stuff that they try to do with the New 52 is garbage. But anytime they've gone back to like old stories that are already cemented, it's been fantastic, and this just wasn't at all.
I think my biggest letdown though is like I was kind of excited to see like maybe because of like the whole dating thing or whatever, however that started. I thought that it was gonna go in a direction and we see a different side of Batman, of him being like, I really do care about you, blah, 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 blah. But it was just like, nope, he's still a cold asshole, I guess. I don't know. He was like,
another thing that really bothers me.
Bitches, basically, is what he was like, you gotta go.
Well, that's another thing that kind of bothers me is it really felt like the only reason why they added her like wanting to be involved with him was because Bruce Timm is the one who originally kind of hinted towards the like sexual tension between them. Like he even did interviews, said like he felt reading the comics and even in like the old Adam West series, there was always that sexual tension between them. So in the animated series, even in like Batman Beyond, he kind of like heavily like goes into that, and it's like, oh yeah, he totally just says screw you, Dick Grayson. I know you're supposed to be like my son, but I'm just gonna steal your girlfriend. And I feel like that's the only reason why that made that into this movie was because it was Bruce Timm involved.
And there's nothing about that in the movie at all either. I mean, she doesn't really have a relationship with anybody that you know about, so it's like you don't even see that side of it in this movie.
Yeah, you just see her pining over him like, oh yeah, I've kind of got a relationship and the yoga's really, really good.
Right.
Like even her being a superhero was kind of just like downplayed because it was all about her just like wanting to get her rocks off for the thrills. It wasn't like anything other than just her being like, oh, it's so much fun. And it's like, that's not making her this strong female character that was the point of having that entire first half hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, let's talk about the most awkward sex scene in a film ever, too. Like, not only are you watching this animated, like, obviously there's hentai and stuff like that, so stuff exists everywhere, but you're watching just, like, Batman and Batgirl just getting ready to start banging it out, and Batman, like, slides his hands down to her butt, and I was like, this is really fucking awkward.
So I was thinking about
the best part of that was, though, when Jarmar turns to me, he says, which doesn't even wear a sports bra.
Yeah, no, she pulls off her shirt, and it's like a Victoria's Secret bra. She's jumping from building to building. Come on, we don't believe that. But also,
like, that was the biggest part of the sex scene was the fact that she has to wear the proper.
Everyone around us had to have heard that, and it was fucking hilarious.
So, I was also thinking too. I don't know why I was, thinking more and more about this scene. Obviously, because it could have been more. It could have been awesome. No, but how did they do it?
What are you saying?
Like, how did they do it? Because isn't Batman's thing like a tidy, like his outfit, like how?
No, the shirt and like tights are separate.
So like, I don't know. I'm just thinking like, how did they like take off their like,
like he takes off his utility belt and he pulls his drawers down and she fucking rides him. What
so.
What more do you need?
This is a conversation I want no part of.
You'll have to talk to the gargoyle that the camera pans to.
Right? He's just fucking creepy ass gargoyle, just like hardcore, just like, yeah, do it.
And don't forget, her dad has cameras all over the city.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Then they
She's just like, oh yeah, look at Batman and Batgirl getting it on. Oh, zip.
Wait a minute.
He diddled himself to his own daughter, presumably.
That's why he's like extra scarred. He sees her naked twice in that movie.
There's the rated R part. It's implied.
It's implied. Right,
You just have to like really look deep to find that
So-
rated R plot.
So when you look at all the DC animated films that are out like on the shelf, like they haven't released a good one since what, Flashpoint? And that was almost 10 movies ago.
I think Dark Knight Returns came out after Flashpoint, though.
That's the one I was thinking.
No,
was
it
Dark Knight
came out
Returns.
before. It was Dark Knight Returns, Superman Unbound, and then Flashpoint.
Well, you guys said that you loved Flashpoint, and I watched it Flashpoint after I watched Dark Knight Returns, and I still think Dark Knight Returns was better.
Well, yeah, Dark Knight Returns is better,
Yeah,
but
I
he's
was just
saying
like-
they haven't released a good one since
Okay,
Flashpoint.
Since
okay.
Flashpoint, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Because
not saying that it's better. We're saying that it was the best thing they've made.
I almost feel like I need to go back and watch these now.
if you look at their top selling titles on the market, they're the Batman films, and they keep releasing really shitty Batman films, like Batman Bad Blood. I didn't like Batman Son of Son of Batman I didn't like. Batman
Yeah, I thought
versus
that was
Robin
kinda
I thought I
cool.
would.
That was alright.
The,
Fun story. So
So-
I may or may not have bought Batman Bad Blood just to get the figure and then return the sealed copy.
Was that at Walmart?
No, that was Target.
yeah, Target, take your
They,
shit
they,
back.
they weren't thrown off by the mustache.
That was a reference to an earlier joke.
Yes, we were discussing how I can't do shady returns at Walmart because I have an evil mustache.
All
Yeah,
you can
for
do
every
is
time.
tie people on railroad tracks.
That's it.
I feel like for one of our podcasts, you should wear a top hat and like really just kind of.
I mean,
Like a monocle.
we're supposed to cosplay for the SDCC one.
Spoilers.
Just saying.
I really wish
Please,
that
like we'll get this up before we go live.
I really wish that DC would stop diddling with all this anime type style
Diddling.
animation.
The
And
word
I
of the day is diddling.
Diddle. I've been trying to say as much else because I want Wes to put a counter of how many times we can say diddle in a podcast.
Should
well,
be
the
like
problem
the-
is I won't rewatch this. Every
Just-
time you hear the word diddle, scream real loud. I really wish they'd stop diddling around
Ah!
with the anime animation and start, I don't know, focusing I guess more on your
Plot?
your basic animation. Well, yeah, and also I get so taken out with anime animation. Like I would love if the next film, I don't want a Batman Harley movie. They're making that. I'm okay. I don't need that. I wish they would make an animated series from like 1992, the Batman series, into a movie. Like, why not do that?
You mean like Mask of the Phantasm, which they have
Well,
done?
yeah, I want a new one. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to release another movie, why don't you make another one of those? People would eat that shit up.
And because DC is all about the future, they don't want to go back. They don't want to revisit old stuff.
The future
They're more
shitty.
willing to drag the old stuff in, but make it new. But they aren't going to read the old stuff.
DC Future's shitty. I mean, look at their San Diego Comic Con panel. Like, there wasn't a huge reaction in Hall H. Like, people didn't freak out for any of the stuff that they showed. It was really weird.
Oh,
Like,
you're
the
talking
thing
about the
they-
animation. I was obviously like,
No,
are
I'm
we talking about the
the
same
movies.
thing? Because I'm pretty
Like-
sure that we all creamed our pants
Oh, we
when that
did.
Justice League.
Watch, like, when they showed Justice League trailer. People don't freak out like they should have freaked out. Like, that's bad. Like, the only thing they really freaked out for was Suicide Squad.
That doesn't make any sense because that trailer was way better than any of the Suicide Squad trailers.
That Suicide Squad trailer sucked.
Yeah.
That one they had at San Diego Comic Con.
I haven't seen it yet.
That'd
I
be
was too
killing.
busy boo-hooing over Arrow and Flash.
I was
So
just talking
because-
about DC in general.
So, I guess this is probably pretty obvious at this point, but would any of you guys like recommend it to fans? Like, not fans, I want to say like friends that maybe aren't too into like
Friends I
comics?
don't like, so you're saying?
So enemies?
So people that aren't really in the comics, would I recommend the movie? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
No, absolutely not.
Alright. As I was just curious to know, like, if some of the changes they made were maybe to try and reach a broader audience instead of just like
I mean,
the typical
really,
comic book fans.
the only changes they made were the first 30 minutes. Everything else, like if you
Yeah.
look through the book right now, it's spot on. Like even like the frames, like when Batman's hugging naked Gordon and all that, and he's all like,
Come.
that's the frame in the
Yeah.
book. They did a great job of sticking to that for that last 40 minutes. It was just like the animation was just so like hit and miss that it ruined it.
Yeah. Warner
Like, if
Brothers,
they-
give them money. Like, let them animate. If
Right,
you're
you
gonna make
think
something
if they're
this
like,
big
oh,
event,
we're gonna have this big movie and it's gonna be rated R, they would have like shelled out a little more.
Yeah, I think
But-
that was probably the biggest letdown is it got people hyped up for it because it was like, oh, we're showing it in movie theaters before the launch.
Yeah.
And then it comes out and you're just like, oh, well, I could have
I
just
thought they
downloaded
hurt
this
themselves really because had they
They-
not shown it in theaters, all of us idiots would have bought it.
shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
I mean,
well,
They've
Well,
been better
correction,
off just-
I would have bought
they're
it.
I would
probably,
have streamed it. Yeah.
I mean, I streamed it anyway, but
I mean, your general audience that you're talking about, Jamar, is
Uh-huh.
right here. Sarah went and saw it.
yeah,
You have Jason who didn't read it, and they both didn't like it. So it shows that they fucked up.
yeah.
Yeah. Because you've got the diehard fans and the casual fans all across the board.
I'll be honest. I feel like I learned more from having a chat with Mike while playing Arkham than I did from that movie. So I mean,
Well,
it's
Well, I
Mike
get really
is the-
descriptive of my diddling, so
He is
You
the
do.
expert of all rape. So is there any other? I know you mentioned like doing like a early '90s like animation film, but would it be like maybe a Batman Turtles crossover film.
I mean, cool. They're doing that.
That movie will never happen, but it'd be awesome.
Dude, they're doing it.
They're doing the comic.
They're doing the comics of the early 90s.
I thought they were doing an animation.
No, it's a
they already did the comic.
No, it's another comic.
It's the Batman Adventures comic with the turtles in it.
Right.
I'm sad now.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I've been legit like fucking happy as hell about that, and now I'm just like, I just want to go burn some comic books now.
Whenever you think about being sad, remember Jarmar's the one that ruined it.
That's true.
I will.
I actually want you to think that. No.
Diddle.
All right, guys.
He just diddled my hopes and dreams.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
So how many? Oh God, what's our ratings? What do we even do for fanboy ratings?
I don't know.
We can give it 1 out of 5 diddles.
Diddles.
1 out of 5 diddles. I would have maybe even went to 1.5 diddles.
Yeah. Well, you know me.
I would give it 1.7 just because of the goddamn it scene.
Yeah. That was worth it. And it was nice to hear
I think we'd have to round it. I think we would have to round it up to 2 then, because 1.7 just doesn't seem right.
No, we can do 1.7.
Get your bullshit core math out of here.
Yeah.
It's on like a 100-point scale. It's like 1.75.
We still want to color in the star the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Or whatever the diddle symbol is.
Yeah.
Can the diddle symbol be a dick potato?
Oh God. Alright, I think we need to wrap up. My computer is about to turn on again.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us for Fanboy Fight Club Reacts. My name's Jason. We got Jarmar, Wes, and Michael here. You can check us out on our podcast that we do every week, usually on Monday nights at 9:30. We always go live on Twitch. We normally have everything posted on YouTube or SoundCloud, Google Play, anything like that by Wednesday, which I don't even know if our last episode's up yet or not.
All the shit.
Wow.
But anyway,
I should probably down that.
But anyway, check us out at fanboyfightclub.com. We thank you for joining us. Everybody have a good night.
And also, go to teespring.com/fanboyfightclub and get your official t-shirt.
There you go. Nice shot. Thanks, Mike.
It's like this one here, except for there's our face on it, and it's blue, and it doesn't look anything like this one. Just so you know.
It doesn't look anything like it.
But it does come.
It is a
with
t-shirt.
Your very own Jarmar.
That is true. If you want this sexual chocolate on your shirt, near your nipples at all times, please buy the shirt.
I like where this is going. Huh?
And on that, we're
I'm
done.
pretty sure it's Jake and Wes that are closer to the nipples of the shirt.